Today on Drawbli,
we are talking about why it's still worth learning to make art.
Hey, I'm Ben.
And I'm Abby.
And we are self-taught artists documenting our journey of learning to draw, which is of course better with friends.
So click that subscribe button if you're new around here.
And check out our guidebook, How to Easily Draw Every Day, at the link below in the description. Abby, is it actually still worth making art?
I know AI is a thing, and that can make any art you can possibly think of at any moment.
It can do anything.
Yeah, and I don't even need to lift a finger. Well, that's something I was reflecting on this week as I was just idly sketching here and there. Here's the warm-up sketch for my week.
Yeah, you're sitting here, you're like, is it even worth it anymore?
As somebody who doesn't have an artistic profession and isn't working in the field, like, why do this? And I was just thinking about that, and I thought that was something that might be fun to talk about on Drawbli today. But my thoughts on it were briefly,
it's not.
As follows.
It's no longer worth. I'm
going to talk about it anyway.
Oh, okay.
Well, number one, of course, personal satisfaction, improving at something. And
what if I don't care about that? What if all I care about is making a cool image and getting that dough?
Then probably you're still pursuing that somewhere in your life. Maybe you have somewhere else in your life you're trying to improve and get better at something.
Okay.
For many people, maybe that's part of the natural state of being. Somewhere in your life, you're seeking to improve at something. Maybe that's your career. And maybe right now that's not your career. Maybe right now, you're trying to improve like just your physical health or your mental health or your living situation. You're trying to beautify the place that you live. We're all applying ourselves somewhere. Maybe you're getting really good at Overwatch, like I am. I'm gonna get out of bronze one of these days.
One day you'll get out of bronze. I like the dog that you're drawing here, by the way.
Yeah, I found this JPEG on Pinterest. I think I wanted to just draw something that was cool to me, and a girl with big dogs sounded really cool. I was thinking of looking for like a girl with like a bunch of big Rottweilers, kind of that vibe.
I really like the face that you've given for the girl as well. You did a good job on your first pass for that.
Oh, thank you. I think I redrew it a bit, but I actually did like this original pass on that, kind of giving it a little bit more stylized look. So I played around with this, and as you can see, I'm back on my kick of still on my kick of drawing my sketch in orange, which is really fitting for this JPEG, don't you think? But anyway, so this week, I spent maybe a couple, just under 2 hours on this, but it was not all in one sitting. I was finding just little scraps of time throughout my week to be able to sit down and draw. Just a busy week. I didn't have a lot of time, so I'm not making huge improvements. And that's why I was kind of thinking about this whole thing of I wasn't bemoaning anything, oh, why do I do this? I was just thinking I'm still carving out time for this. And I could have told AI to make this in 2 seconds. So why am I doing this? And I was
Why
thinking
are you
about
doing
that.
this, Abby?
And so I thought about it, and I figured I'd get into it on Drawbli because I don't know. Maybe through discussion I can understand.
You don't know why you're doing this.
I do. It's fun to do. It's satisfying to be able to look back and see how I've improved since we began Drawbli is really, really cool. Mm-hmm. And in many more ways than just being able to draw a shape, but also in other things that I've learned, like colors and picking things, also getting to be inspired by so many artists. Here you can see I love girl plus big dog aesthetic.
I wonder where you picked that up from.
Yeah, Kellogg Sloop is one of my favorite artists, and he makes beautiful watercolors, and here are two of my favorites by him. Go figure why. There's big dogs in them.
Big dogs.
Big dogs and a lady. And so on a much smaller scale, I tried to emulate that a little bit myself, going as far as even to experiment with making a more wolf-like dog here, which I didn't take very far. I'm just copying a little bit of one of his wolves. But I just enjoyed doing it so much. So maybe that's my miniature takeaway on why is this all worth it, and it's because I really like it.
It's because I really like
I
it.
really like it, and I'll leave the bigger questions on that to the philosophers and professionals. But when they are collecting data for their big studies, they'll find my answer and include that in their data.
Well, one person said they like it.
They really just like it a lot, okay?
Well, I would say, personally, especially in the professional field, I think a lot of people are scared of AI. People who aren't even working in the industry right now. I think actually people who are working in the industry are more confident than people that are trying to get into the industry, because it's really, really freaking hard to get a job in the art industry, especially if you're going for film, game, etc. And it can definitely feel like, it's not worth it when you're seeing these images get generated in a mere matter of moments, and you have been working for, potentially years.
Your lifetime.
Not your lifetime, probably. You'd probably be in a pretty good spot if you've been working for your lifetime.
I'm counting toddler years of coloring with crayons.
Unless you've just been phoning it in.
Yeah. Oh, well, I wasn't phoning it in as a toddler, but maybe I wasn't my best work.
So here's actually an example, a really good example. I wouldn't say that you were phoning it in, but you weren't working towards competency. You've been drawing your whole life, but you haven't been drawing with the level of intention that you have over the past year and a half here on Drawbli.
Oh yeah, I feel like those moments are limited to maybe in high school having taken one art class where you're really striving and being pushed by an external force. Other than that, everything has just been about just drawing for pleasure, doing my own thing. And I didn't even hugely enjoy the art class I was in at the time. Mostly because I didn't know yet that I needed slight correction of my vision, and all of my pictures had a little bit of a fuzzy tone.
Yeah. I want to mention that very briefly, that idea of, measuring time for drawing, because especially in beginners, I've been doing art professionally for a long time. It's something that I see quite often, especially in my early career when I started working professionally as a digital sculptor. In less than 2 years, I went from literally zero to working professionally in a year and 9 or 10 months, I think. And I would see messages all the time that were like, hey, how did you get so good so fast? I've been doing this for X number of years and I still don't have a job. And I think number of years is a really bad measurement for art experience.
That's so
because
true. Yeah.
I was grinding literally every single night. That sounds weird.
I didn't
hold
know
on.
you
No,
then.
wait, hold on. I was working really hard at art every single night, and as often as I could. Typically at night, it would be my late night thing.
Yeah.
I would get home from my job at the time, not working in the art industry, and I would do as much as I could to progress. But then you have people who are like, oh yeah, I did some here and there. So it's number of years is a really bad measurement, because somebody could be putting in an hour a day, somebody could be putting in an hour a week, here and there, whatever, it just kind of depends.
In this case, this was about 2 hours over the course of a week. So yeah, you're right. Not a lot of in this particular instance, pushing on that grind, baby. I just did what I could this week.
I mean, could you imagine if you, you've been really getting into CrossFit lately. So if you only did 1 or 2 hours of CrossFit a week, that's not going to make you get huge gains or anything.
Right.
You'd definitely be doing more than somebody who's not doing that. But you've been going to CrossFit quite a lot.
Every day, baby.
Almost every day, yeah.
Nope,
so,
every day, baby.
you missed a day here or there.
Maybe 4 weeks ago.
Okay, all right.
I'm gonna hurt myself.
Yeah, you definitely are.
But until then, I'll keep going. Rest is important.
But to kind of bring it all back to what we were talking about, with AI, is it still worth it? A lot of people who are just getting into it are really unsure, are there still going to be jobs for me? There are always going to be jobs for artists. Learning the fundamentals of creating good art is something that in my opinion, is never not going to be a valuable skill. The technical side of things is always going to advance. Technology is always going to advance and change. But, that just like art fundamentals is always going to be valuable, if not even from a monetary standpoint, from a satisfactory standpoint or an emotional standpoint.
Absolutely, I agree. Well, thank you for commenting on that, because like I said, it was kind of a half-baked idea in my own head to talk about, and I hadn't really reflected on it enough that I had concrete answers, so I'm glad that we talked about it today.
Yeah, and if you want to be half-baked, click that like and subscribe button and check out our guidebook, How to Easily Draw Every Day, at the link below in the description.
Share your work on Instagram with #Drawbli, because drawing is better with friends.
And this is the part where we say...
Goodbye.
Goomba. I love your dog.
Thank you.
I love how you introduced your dog by saying it was a wolf.
Yeah, it's a Samoyed.
You were telling me, you're like, it's a wolf. I drew a wolf. And then I looked at it and I was like, Abby, that a dog.
I said a dog.